really like this intro. Excuse me. Wow. Was not really expecting that. Yeah, I like this song a lot. I don't know why. It's just like super relaxing almost. Like YouTube music, I guess. All right, let's get on with this. So today we're gonna go ahead and talk about some 4-track characters for X-Force, and let's just go ahead and go right into here, right? Okay, so let's start with Colossus. Colossus is like kind of like the butt of the joke when it comes to X-Force. I hate to say it, but it's really what it is. He's really stocky. If you want a character that's just gonna survive, he's really your guy. Him being speed slow really kind of hurts. But like, let's try to be positive about this, right? He's got a great bodyguard. He's hard to take out. He gets thrown away, and then he's super hard to get back into the game. So like once he's thrown out, it's kind of eh. If you're playing Colossus, I highly recommend one of your restricted cards being Indomitable, just for that time he gets thrown out, so that way he can stay in the game. Because if he's not next to his buddies to defend them or bodyguard for them, he's just going to be rough. His other big issue, I would say, is generating power, because he's only got range 2, and it's a builder, and it's just 5 dice. Again, you got the wild, so X-Force leadership, you're trying to get that trigger. But 3 power to throw a terrain feature. He's got no control over characters, which kind of sucks. But he's there to take a hit. That's his role. His job is there to get punched in the face and laugh at it, because he's got 6 health, 4-3-3. He can count blanks or add dice. On his backside, he gets to count blanks. So it's like it's just great. Like he's so hard to take out. 6-7 for a 4-threat. Again, 4-3-3. I don't really know what else to say about him other than he's a tank. Like he's there to take hits. And for you to sacrifice to him, sacrifice is another great card whenever you're playing him, because then you could just, like, if you don't have the power for bodyguard, you just give it to him anyways, instead of like Badger. And all that. If I had wishes for Colossus, it'd be medium move, because he ain't no slouch. He doesn't like walk super slow in the comics everywhere. He's not a slow mover. And if he could like have some sort of impact on characters, like that's what I wish he had. But overall, I did a lot of experimenting with him. I don't hate Colossus. Like, he's fine. It's just so hard to fit him in a roster when I have all these other characters I have stuff I want to do with. So that is why I hardly take him anymore. If we want to talk, though, you got Fastball Special, which is just a great card when like you talk about its use, because you can just throw Wolverine up, and it's -2 dodge dice, and they get bleed. Like that can just be like death to certain characters. It's real big. I do love Colossus. I kind of like the sculpt, but I kind of don't at the same time. He's just a character for me, kind of like Deadpool, where he just gets pushed out way too easily. So that's my only struggle with him. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Wolverine. 7 threat front, 6 health back, 4-3-2. Mystic is weakness. He's just an average beater, nothing crazy. I like to talk about comparing Wolverine to Logan, because there's only really a couple differences when you look at the base of what the character is doing, because their like play patterns are very, very similar. He's gonna roll up no matter the cost, do Berserker Barrage to get the place, which is the same as going up and doing a builder, but it doesn't take a card for Logan. And it's like it says he just teleports on his builder, so he's way more mobile. I have grown to really love the best of what I do, especially on the flip side, but he's just your beater. Like, save exceptional for when he's on his backside if you are playing him. Great on Fisk because you got immunity stun. He's just a high roll character. You're really hoping dice just work in your favor. On his backside is where he's super fun though, because he's only 5 health, but you have the wild rage. What I love to do with this is try to save him for as long as I can, and just exceptional healing so he doesn't die. And then next thing you know, you're doing best at what I do for 9 dice. He just murders things. It's great. He's a good beater, but again, especially with Psylocke in the mix now, it's super hard to justify taking him unless you're like playing Colossus and Fastball Special. He's just not bringing a lot of what I want, where Psylocke or Sabretooth or even Logan R. So that's some reasoning behind that. Speaking of Sabretooth, let's go ahead and go to him. He's like, for the longest time, like ipso facto, this is like the 4th threat you want to be playing. He's 6 health, long move, 333, so average defenses, bleed pierce. Like, he's good. And the cool thing is he absolutely uses the leadership the best because he's got triggers and he has the attack back. So after an attack against him is resolved, he gets to attack within 2. He also has aggressive on top of it, so you can aggressive and then attack back if you need to. Really cool. Guess he'd use the leadership a lot like that. I don't believe anything changes on his backside. Yeah, so 6 health, 333. I love that card for Psylocke. What's it called? Silent Constructs. To put it on Savage Predator to make it a 7-die Mystic. And really, really ensure that I'm getting this because it'll be like 7-die Mystic, reroll any. And you probably get that trigger into a reroll any, which is really kind of cool. Sabretooth is just really hard for you to put down. Like, he's a really good 4 threat for the affiliation. And then we get to our bread and butter nowadays. And that's going to be Psylocke. Like, Psylocke is amazing. She really just, like, is everything you could want. Sure, she's 333, or 334, 6 health, 4 threat, medium move, but she's just super mobile. Cat and mouse is, like, her best friend. Like, if she's on the board, you're typically going to be cat and mousing her. And then Cybo is just amazing. Her telekinetic combat enhancement. Like, you can do this round 1 because you're going to Cybo somebody and then you're going to do your TCE. I think something that people miss a lot of times is your TCE or telekinetic combat enhancement is not an action, right? So the fact that it's not an action means that I could move, and then do this for an extra short move. Yeah, I'm not attacking, but like, it's just an extra little bit of movement that could like end up making the game because of how mobile she can be, where I can just move, interact with something, move, interact, and then do TCE to interact with something else maybe if it like lines up like that. I've had it save multiple games. It's a really cool ability. Her card Crimson Dawn also is just super dope. Let me pull it up. I love Crimson Dawn. I think Crimson Dawn is the better of the two just because it's just gives her so much mobility and gives her healing factor, which means she then has access to exceptional healing. So when I prefer this card over the reroll one overall. Also, because I dropped Sabretooth from my list, so I don't really need the rerolls. So that's kind of like my take on the 4 threats. Psylocke is by far my favorite 4 threat. Just like she's got disruption, she's got mobility, and she just punches. Like, she punches so hard. The fact that she could do energy or mystic for her builder is insane. Like, hello, Red Skull. Like, I'm coming for you. I love Psylocke. She's like by far my favorite 4 threat in the affiliation now. I typically will play Cable, Logan, Psylocke as my core. I understand it's not affiliated. Well, I mean, it kind of is, but you're having to take an affiliated for your next character. So it's gonna be 23, Sabretooth, Domino, Deadpool, Badger, maybe something in there. I really just wanted to round out the rest of the characters. That has basically all the characters that are affiliated covered. And then we'll start going into unaffiliated characters next time. But yeah, if you have any questions about the 4 threats or any opposing opinions, just let me know. I love Psylocke though. Like, she is like making every list for me. And as I said, Constructs is really cool if you have a way to use it. Otherwise, you probably just don't bring it. It's a really cool card. Sabretooth loves it, but that's really it. I kind of have a hard time saying I'm going to bring this just for dice but I love Crimson Dawn, where there's people that say I don't like giving my opponent agency on this card. But it's like, if they don't take out Psylocke, then like, she's just going to run rampant. And if they do, you get this card. Now she's more mobile, has exceptional healing, has healing factor. The only thing that people need to pay attention to is the fact that it says when an allied Psylocke flips her card to the injured side, she may pay 3 power. So that means if you don't do it when you flip it at that turn, then or that end of cleanup phase, you do not get this card anymore. So you have to be like ready to do it. So there's that. Let me think. I guess there's some other affiliated tactics cards. that we want to go over. But I did dirty work already and pretty sneaky. We did those already. Character tactics cards. Jonathan, I think is a really cool one. I played around with it for the longest time, and I loved it. I think if you build a list with Jonathan in it, you're building around Jonathan. You really want to be able to play it. You want to be able to use it. I love R&D for this. But Jonathan's like an underrated card in my opinion. I can't tell you how many games that this has scored me 6 VPs. And if I'm using R&D in this to score 6 VPs, I'm okay with that. I really don't care. I love it. So if you're playing R&D, highly recommend playing this card. R&D's okay in the list because other people kind of want it. Like you could use 23, so you can get rid of no matter the cost. You could also use no matter the cost and the extra power to have somebody else do something. Salak doesn't mind it. She doesn't really love it, but she doesn't mind it. With R&D, you could just like have access to rerolls round 1 or be able to move and TCE. Other things you could do with R&D in the list would be, I'm gonna do like a specific like talk through R&D when we do that, but I love Jonathan if I'm taking R&D. Dark Past if I'm playing Gambit. Like I talked before, Dark Past is really cool when you pair it with Pretty Sneaky Sis. But again, you're taking Gambit at that. I like Gambit, so I'm not. It doesn't bother me none. It's just something cool. If I bring Gambit in the list, I'm bringing Dark Pass and I'm building around it. That's really all that is. Fastball Special, I kind of talked about already. If I'm playing Colossus, I'm playing Wolverine, which means I'm playing Fastball Special. That's really just kind of what it comes down to. I love playing Logan in X-Force, so I debate on Gotta Get Some Air, but it never really makes the list for me. This is kind of like a multi-use card because either you can trigger it to make him super aggressive round 1, or you can save it and make him super defensive to where like my opponent comes to get the thing from him. Well, now he's got a safe grab because he's going to use it defensively instead of like offensively. Because it says any character, so it could be your enemy. So you can go up, double move Logan, pick up a hammer, or pick up something. Opponent moves towards him, he pops a card, and then moves back to safety. It's kind of cool. I like using it that way more than aggressively lately. It's just people don't really expect it. People expect you to use this offensively. Hellfire Club, like I've been talking about, I really like the flex to Hellfire Club for X-Force. I think it fixes a lot of our issues. I implore anybody to try it. I don't really know what else to say about that. A lot of the characters really love the leadership and can help support the leadership really easily. So I can't say enough about it. I love it. If I'm playing Pyro, I'm taking Pyrotechnics. I was doing Kick'em for a while, but I'm really just like unsold on that, and I'm more sold on Pyrotechnics. Every time I played Pyro without it, I was like, man, I wish I had Pyrotechnics right now. It's just a good card to help even up the scoring if my opponent's running away with the game, as well as it's a control card. If you look at this is basically Midnight Phantasmagoria, except it's not healing you. And instead of healing you, it's making them drop extracts, which is kind of bigger in the greater scheme of things of the game. And people were like, oh my god, this card's so OP. But nobody talks about Pyrotechnics that way. Like, I love this card. Like, look at it like Midnight Phantasmagoria. It's a short push as long as they're incinerated. It's a 3-threat Pyrotech. It's the 3-threat Midnight Phantasmagoria. That's all I have to say about it. Weapon X program. If you're taking Sabretooth and Wolverine, it's kind of hard to argue not to take this. Like, it's actually really good. It's either mobility or more damage coming across. So you really can't argue against that. So there is that. But I think that's going to wrap it up for now. I just want to get a quick video out talking about the tactics that I take for character specifics and the 4 threats. Next video, we'll talk about some unaffiliated characters and the unaffiliated tactics cards. I should be playing a game here next couple days and be able to get another gameplay video up and start doing some more in-depth topics once we get all these easier themes out of the way. I also got crises to cover. I got a bunch of lists to go through, so we'll get to it. I know it's kind of I don't really know what to say, but it's a slog, especially when I talk through Discord about a lot of this stuff already. But it's good to have a general place for people to like start fresh and be like, oh look, X Force, and people to go through it all. But if you have any questions about anything covered in this video, just let me know. Again, Psylocke is life. Don't really know what else to say about that other than like Psylocke is just amazing for the team. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.